Nobody expected it. Nobody could have expected it. For years, the name LeBrock had faded into the shadows, until one night the silence broke with a thunderous roar. In an era when WWE was ruled by chaos, betrayal, and surprise returns, fans thought they'd seen it all. But this was different. Because this time, the shock came from a name tied to one of Hollywood's most dangerous legends, Steven Seagal. His daughter, Arissa LeBrock, once known for her quiet demeanor, had vanished from the public eye after a brief MMA career. But on this night, something was about to change forever. The lights went dark. The crowd buzzed in confusion. And then, a single spotlight hit the ramp. A figure appeared, draped in black leather, her silhouette strong, composed, and lethal. The Titantron flickered to life, showing one word that sent chills through every arena seat. LeBrock. The crowd erupted into chaos. Social media exploded in seconds. "No way! Is that really her?" Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't some nostalgia cameo. This wasn't a random celebrity appearance. This was a statement. Rumors had been swirling for months. Whispers of a woman training in secret, using her father's brutal Aikido discipline mixed with modern MMA aggression. Some said she'd been spotted in underground fight gyms. Others claimed she was preparing to debut in Japan. But no one imagined she'd walk into the biggest stage in sports entertainment and call out WWE's most dominant women's champion on her first night. The commentators could barely speak over the noise. "That's Arissa LeBrock, Steven Seagal's daughter, as she's here." Her entrance was calm, calculated. No smiles, no theatrics, just intensity. The kind that says, "I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to dismantle someone." As she entered the ring, the champion, Rhea Ripley, stared her down. Two powerhouses, two worlds colliding. Rhea smirked. Arissa didn't flinch. The tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. Then, in a moment that broke the internet, Arissa raised the mic and said 5 simple words. "I'm not my father's shadow." The arena went insane. Within minutes, LeBrock's return was trending worldwide. Fight pages, film fans, and even old Seagal movie buffs flooded comment sections with disbelief. The legend's daughter wasn't hiding anymore. She was here to fight. But what nobody knew was why she was really here, and what message she was about to send to the entire women's division. Because Arissa LeBrock didn't come for fame. She came for vengeance. Every warrior has a reason to fight. But Arissa LeBrock's reason was born from betrayal, not glory. The night after her WWE debut, the wrestling world couldn't stop talking. Clips of her intense stare-down with Rhea Ripley flooded social media. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Steven Seagal's daughter stepping into the most dangerous division in professional wrestling. But behind the hype was a dark truth, one nobody saw coming. Years earlier, before anyone heard her name, Arissa had been quietly training under her father's shadow. While the world mocked Seagal for his Hollywood toughness, behind closed doors, Arissa learned something real: precision, discipline, and the ability to read an opponent before they even struck. But her dream wasn't to act. It was to fight. She entered MMA in her early 20s, determined to prove herself. For a moment, she was unstoppable. Commentators said she had her father's calm and her mother's fury. But one brutal loss, a fight stopped early under controversial circumstances, changed everything. Her opponent's camp accused her of staging the fight. Her sponsors pulled out. The media humiliated her. Broken, betrayed, and disillusioned, Arissa disappeared. But legends don't stay buried. In the shadows of Los Angeles, whispers began spreading. About a woman who trained like a ghost. No interviews, no promotions, just violence. She studied the greats, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, even footage of Rhea Ripley herself. Word spread that she was blending Aikido with hybrid combat, turning defense into deadly offense. Then came the twist. A leaked video surfaced 6 months before her WWE debut. It showed a sparring session, Rhea Ripley training with none other than Arissa's former MMA coach, the same man who'd betrayed her during that infamous fight. That was all it took. The quiet woman who'd walked away from fame decided she'd come back, and she wouldn't stop until she exposed every lie that built Rhea's throne. Insiders later revealed she made one call to an old family friend, a Hollywood stunt coordinator connected to Triple H. Within weeks, she had a closed-door tryout at the Performance Center, and when WWE's higher-ups saw the raw intensity she brought, they knew she was box office gold. But what nobody expected was the cold, cinematic style she brought with her. Her entrances were eerie, her promos whispered instead of shouted. Pure Seagal energy. The aura wasn't just wrestling, it was storytelling. It was legacy. The crowd loved it. But in the locker room, fear spread fast, because everyone knew when someone carries the Seagal name and fights with the fury of a betrayed daughter, things were going to get ugly. And when Rhea Ripley finally responded with one brutal message, "I break bloodlines for fun," Arissa's path of vengeance became crystal clear. It was supposed to be a statement match. But what happened that night turned into one of the most chaotic moments in modern WWE history. After weeks of silence, Rhea Ripley finally snapped. In a chilling backstage promo, she called Arissa LeBrock a movie stunt gone wrong, mocking her lineage and questioning her toughness. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Rhea was poking the bear. Social media went wild. Rhea versus LeBrock trended across the globe. Everyone knew it was coming. The match was booked for Night of Vengeance, a pay-per-view built around rivalries fueled by blood and betrayal. But what fans didn't know was that WWE management had no idea how real this feud had become behind the scenes. Backstage cameras caught glimpses of tension. Reports leaked of a confrontation between Arissa and Rhea during a rehearsal. Chairs flipped, shouts exchanged. Some crew members claimed Rhea shoved Arissa first. Others said Arissa laughed and whispered something cold enough to freeze the entire locker room. By the time show night arrived, security was doubled. Producers kept both women in separate areas, but everyone could feel it. The energy was dangerous. The bell rang. The arena went dark. A hush fell over the crowd as Arissa's entrance began, a cinematic montage of shattered glass, fire, and a faint voice whispering, "Every lie ends tonight." The lights returned to reveal her standing in the center of the ramp, eyes locked on Rhea like a predator studying prey. The crowd erupted into chaos. Commentators shouted over one another, "This isn't just another match, this is war!" The first few minutes were pure brutality. No flashy moves, no crowd pandering, just strikes that echoed through the arena. Rhea hit hard. Arissa hit harder. It looked real, too real. Fans on social media began asking if they were actually fighting for real. Then it happened. A mid-match collision sent Rhea flying into the steel steps. The sound was sickening. Trainers rushed to ringside, but Rhea waved them off. She spat blood and charged back in fury. The match devolved into chaos. Weapons flying, tables shattered. Even commentary couldn't keep up. And then, the unthinkable. Midway through the carnage, a hooded figure jumped the barricade and attacked Arissa from behind. Security swarmed. Cameras zoomed in, and fans gasped. It was Sonya Deville. Nobody saw it coming. She raised a chair high and smashed it into Arissa's shoulder, screaming, "You don't belong here!" The ref called for the bell. The match was ruled a no contest. Boos rained down from the arena. Rhea smirked as Sonya stood over Arissa's fallen body. It wasn't just a match anymore. It was war between eras, alliances, and bloodlines. Arissa's debut match had ended in betrayal. But as she was carried out, she whispered something to the medic that a camera barely caught. "Tell Rhea, this isn't over. Every hero bleeds." But only legends turn that blood into a weapon. After the chaos of Night of Vengeance, the entire WWE universe was in shock. Arissa LeBrock's debut had ended in betrayal, her shoulder torn, her pride shattered. For weeks, she disappeared. No interviews, no updates, nothing. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The woman who had taken the wrestling world by storm had vanished again. But beneath the silence, something darker was happening. Cameras finally caught her weeks later, training in a private dojo on the outskirts of Nevada. No lights, no crew, just a concrete room, a heavy bag, and the sound of her fists. The footage, leaked by an anonymous source, sent chills down everyone's spine. Her left arm was still bandaged, but her strikes were sharper than ever. She wasn't healing. She was evolving. Rumors swirled online. Who's training her? Is Steven Seagal involved? Is this for a movie or a real WWE return? Nobody knew, until one blurred photo hit Reddit. It showed Arissa sparring with a mysterious figure, tall, bald, and unmistakably dangerous. Fans froze when they recognized him, Ken Shamrock. The legend himself, the world's most dangerous man, had taken her under his wing. Insiders later confirmed that Shamrock, after seeing her brutal match at Night of Vengeance, reached out personally. He told her, "You've got the look of someone who's not done yet." And he was right. Training under Shamrock changed everything. Arissa abandoned the calm Aikido approach. She began fighting like a hybrid predator, submission grappling mixed with pure striking power. Every movement was surgical, every expression stone cold. Meanwhile, WWE cameras began airing cryptic vignettes, broken mirrors, whispered lines like "Blood remembers," and a slow zoom on a pair of dark eyes. The message was clear. Arissa LeBrock was coming back. Fans couldn't contain their excitement. This is like watching a Seagal movie come to life. Rhea Ripley better start running. But behind the hype was a purpose: vengeance. Arissa wasn't just targeting Rhea anymore. She wanted Sonya Deville, too. The woman who'd robbed her of victory was about to pay the price. Her first act of return came unannounced. During a random episode of Raw, Sonya was giving an interview, mocking Arissa's Hollywood fragility. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The camera shook. And when they steadied, Arissa was standing behind her. No words, no warning. Just a spinning back fist that dropped Sonya cold. The crowd exploded. Commentators screamed, "She's back! LeBrock is back with a vengeance!" The following week, Arissa's promo aired. Her voice low, calm, deadly. "You drew blood first, Sonya. But now, I collect the debt." The war had reignited, and this time it wasn't about reputation. It was about redemption. Vengeance is a promise. But in WWE, promises come with consequences. By the time Arissa LeBrock returned to Raw, the entire locker room had changed. Her ambush on Sonya Deville wasn't just revenge, it was a message. Every woman in the division knew the game had shifted. The Seagal bloodline had drawn its line in the sand. The following week, Sonya appeared on crutches, claiming she'd suffered nerve damage from Arissa's spinning strike. But fans weren't buying it. They wanted blood. WWE capitalized instantly, announcing a no disqualification match for Clash of Queens, Sonya Deville versus Arissa LeBrock. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing: Steven Seagal's daughter in a hardcore match. "This is going to be brutal," one tweet read. And it was. The moment the bell rang, Arissa stormed Sonya like a thunderstorm. Kendo sticks cracked, tables splintered, and the crowd roared as every hit landed with purpose. This wasn't a wrestling match, it was an execution of vengeance. Sonya fought back, desperate and cunning, but Arissa was too sharp. Her strikes flowed like choreography from an action film, every motion blending cinematic grace with real fury. And when she finally locked Sonya in a submission hold, a hybrid choke Shamrock himself had taught her, the audience could feel the emotion radiating off her. Sonya tapped out. The arena erupted, but as Arissa stood victorious, lights suddenly cut out. Total darkness. When they flickered back on, Rhea Ripley was standing behind her. The crowd lost it. Social media went nuclear. "No way! Rhea's here!" "It's about to go down!" Rhea smirked, clapping slowly. "Nice fight, princess. But remember, I still run this division." Then, out of nowhere, she hit Arissa with a devastating riptide onto a steel chair. The impact echoed through the arena. Fans screamed. Commentators shouted, "Why now? Why like this?" Rhea leaned over the fallen LeBrock and whispered into the camera, "Your father trained you to fight. I'll teach you to break." It was personal now. The next week, WWE aired security footage showing Rhea and Sonya laughing together backstage before the attack. The betrayal ran deep. Sonya had been Rhea's bait all along. Arissa had walked straight into a trap, but she wasn't broken. She was reborn. A haunting promo aired days later. Arissa in an empty dojo, voice low and trembling with rage. "You think pain scares me? I was raised by it. You want a war, Rhea? You've got one." The segment ended with a single word flashing on screen: reckoning. The main event was set. Rhea Ripley versus Arissa LeBrock at Summer Breakdown. Two forces of chaos, one blood feud, no mercy. And when the cameras faded to black, one question echoed across every screen. Can the daughter of a legend create a legacy of her own, or die trying? Every story has an ending, but legends, they write their own. The stage was set. Summer Breakdown, the biggest event of the year. The air inside the stadium was electric. Every seat filled, every fan chanting one name over and over, "LeBrock, LeBrock, LeBrock." The world was watching. Rhea Ripley stood in one corner, confident, dominant, cold. Across from her, Arissa LeBrock stood motionless, wrapped in black and crimson gear, stitched with the kanji for vengeance. Her father once said, "A fight is won before it begins." Tonight, she was ready to prove him right. The bell rang. Silence shattered. They collided like two storms meeting in the eye of chaos. Rhea's power was raw, slams that shook the ring. Arissa's technique was sharp, flowing like a predator's rhythm. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. It wasn't a wrestling match. It was art in motion. Midway through the match, Rhea dominated. Every time Arissa rose, Rhea cut her down again. Commentary roared, "Rhea's too strong. LeBrock can't take much more." But then, something changed. Rhea went for her signature riptide, and Arissa countered mid-air, twisting into a brutal armbar that left Rhea screaming. The crowd exploded. "This is unreal," shouted Cole. "She's fighting like a veteran." For nearly 30 minutes, they tore each other apart. Power versus precision, chaos versus control. At one point, Rhea tossed Arissa through the announcer's table. EMTs rushed in. The ref tried to stop the match, but Arissa shoved them away. Her face bled, her shoulder dislocated, but her eyes burned brighter than ever. She staggered back into the ring as fans chanted, "Fight forever! Fight forever!" And she did. In the final moments, Rhea charged for one last clothesline. Arissa ducked, spun, and delivered a spinning back elbow, the same strike that ended Sonya. Rhea stumbled, dazed. Arissa lifted her onto her shoulders and, with a roar that felt primal, delivered a brutal slam she called the Dragon's Fall. 1, 2, 3. The bell rang. The arena erupted into chaos. Fireworks ignited. Fans were crying, screaming, cheering all at once. Arissa LeBrock, the daughter of an action legend, had done the impossible. She stood tall, tears in her eyes, the championship clutched to her chest. Cameras zoomed in as she whispered into the mic, "This is for everyone who said I was just his daughter." The crowd responded with a thunderous chant that echoed through the building. "You deserve it!" As the lights dimmed, the Titantron flickered to life, showing an old clip of Steven Seagal himself from decades ago saying, "A warrior doesn't seek revenge. She finds balance." Arissa smiled, bowed to the crowd, and raised the belt high. The Seagal legacy had been reborn, not in Hollywood, but in the squared circle. The legend continued, and this time it was hers.